Okay, so this is so crazy. If someone were to say, like, how did you all meet? We have kind of a nice little story.
Yeah, you actually you hooked my heart when you said you were looking for a one-way ticket to Pound Town.
You know, it's Pound Town is a place I've been wanting to go for a very long time.
You know the irony of that. Okay, so guys, just so you know, before we get to Pound Town, we were all of us were backstage this during the pandemic, so virtually backstage, all to go on as guests on Cityline, and we had a lot of extra time in the back, and that's where we got to know each other quick, and your energy was so, we had so much fun with you in those few minutes backstage.
So this is Vivian K you're listening to. And she is, well, why don't I let you go? But you're basically a business on empowerment, a business empowerment coach.
And honestly, I have to tell you,
Expert. I've changed it.
Expert.
When I read your bio that came over, I'm like, so many bios are so freaking boring. Like, it's not their fault. It's just they have all this. Blah, blah, blah. Yours is just pure entertainment. Your bio. So tell us about what you do.
She likes karaoke.
Yes, well, to formally introduce myself, my name is Vivian K. I am the founder and CEO of Kinky Curly Yaki. It is a premium textured hair extensions brand for Black women that I built from 0 to over 6 million in sales. I'm also a business and empowerment expert. I've changed that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm a Shopify / e-commerce expert. And I'm an all-around dope lady. And I'm a mom.
You are not feeling this energy yet. I don't even know who you are. You just need to keep on rolling.
It's that big Viv energy.
Big energy, but I got to go back to Pound Town because I was saying, you know,
you got to go back. All that. She's like a superstar, but let's go back to Pound Town.
Here's what's important here.
Pound Town, shall we go?
The irony of that you're looking for some Pound Town and we're looking to run away from Pound Town.
You know, the grass is always greener on the other side, you know?
You're so right.
Yeah.
I what came first was like, I mean, there's so many questions I have because, you know, we have women that listen to this podcast. I think 1% men and 90%, 99% women. And so often we hear like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I am feeling like I should be doing something because, you know, I'm at home and my kids are at school. My kids are grown. Like, what came first for you, the company or the bit, like the expertise in the business?
The business. Well, yeah, but even then, like even before then, it's not like I knew what I was doing. I literally have made stuff up as I was going along.
Like what?
Like what? Like, girl, let's see. I started my first business, which was a wedding decor business back in 2005, because my sister got screwed over by a wedding decorator. And I'm like, this can't be that hard. Let me give it a try. And what I did was I put my own spin on it. But at the time, I didn't know that that was a thing. I just thought that it was just Vivian doing what Vivian does, which is march to the beat of her own drum, right? So I started that business. That business started out as it ended up as a 6-figure business. And I quite literally just did it. Like I just got started and I thought, okay, well, what don't I know? I don't know how to do X, Y, Z, but I do know how to do 1, 2, 3. So how can I fill in those gaps? So I've always been that person. And, you know, especially as girls, sometimes, or as women, I think we're socialized to focus on what we're not good at. Whereas guys they're socialized to take risks, jump off bridges, do the things, like figure it out. Whereas we're raised to be like, no, you need to do 1, 2, 3 and ABC in those orders. And that's the only way you can do it.
Right.
And so then I thought, well, why can't I do it like that? Why can't I do X, J, and F and do it in that order and figure it out as I'm going along? Because that guy over there, he obviously doesn't know what he's doing, but he's successful. So and I think I'm smarter than him. So I'm going to figure this shit out. And that's what I did. And each and every business that I've done, It's not like I set out to do $1 million business. I started out with a problem that needed to be solved. Right. And so then when you're stuck, look at your life. What are some pain points in your life? What are some things that need to be solved? Look at that. Look at the obvious stuff. Don't try and, reinvent the wheel. There's nothing new under the sun. If you see something and you're like, you know what, they could do it better if they just did 1, 2, 3, and ABC. Those are my favorite characters, by the way. If they just did it like that, and then just put your own spin on it, right? So
Totally.
It sounds like, I mean, what I hear you saying is that so many people just don't have they're their biggest barriers. Because what you're just saying is, you're so right. Everyone's done. Nothing's new, really. I mean, Crocs were the only new thing I know about that, were a terrible idea, but ended up being a bajillion-dollar business.
But those are few, and those are few and far between.
Yeah, that's the point, right? And so, and when you say that's so true, you just have to do it.
Tell us about Chad. I
love Chad. Oh my goodness. First of all, everyone knows a Chad. Okay. And so I'm just going to preface this by saying that this is not a specific person. It is not meant to downplay anyone's accomplishments or even to bash men. That's not what this is about. Chad is an energy. Chad is a mood. Chad is an attitude. Chad is a mindset. Okay. So what would Chad do? So that's my little thing. What would Chad do? So, we always see that there's these guys whose confidence overrides your expertise. Right. So there's always that guy that's always coming in with his mediocre accomplishments. He's super proud of what he's done, and he's doing all the things he has no business doing because he has the audacity. Right?
Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
No, audacity is a good thing. But as you can see, we've got people in place, like people in power, like say, the premier of this province, right? He has no business being the premier of this province. None. Even the prime minister, he has pretty hair. Do not get me wrong. Pretty hair, nice beard. Countdown, let's go. But he has no business being the prime minister.
Right.
Right. The only reason why these guys are in power is because they had the audacity. They put their foot forward. Even the former president of the United States, like all these guys are getting all these jobs and money and opportunities because they have the audacity to put their hand up and say, I can do that. So why can't we do the same thing?
It's the opposite of imposter syndrome.
It's the absolute opposite, because you know what? You actually have, for the most part, you actually have the expertise to back it up. Like there's this report. Hewlett Packard did something where they say that women only apply for things because only if they're 100% qualified.
Right. Totally.
Men, they could have, I think the minimum is like 60%. And they're applying anyways, and they get the job because they have the audacity. Right?
Oh my gosh,
and again, it's back to that socialization. Men are brought up to take risks. Women are not. Right? Because we got to think of the children, think of the family. I mean, family and children are great, but what about me? What about my life? What am I doing? What am I accomplishing? How am I making myself happy? So if I have to do these audacious things, if I have to take that, what would Chad do? Because really what it is just meant to help you to immediately dismiss those self-limiting thoughts that pop into your head. Like, oh, I can't do it. I only have 4 out of the 5 qualifications. Girl, you made it this far. You can figure this shit out. Apply.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I'm thinking of so many examples that just are totally
also relevant. Even if you think of like, this is so, I don't know if this is a gender stereotype, so let's beat the shit out of this one conversation. But when boys fight or get in a thing or someone does them wrong, they are able to move on the next moment, right? It's like it is acceptable for them to have a disagreement and then be best friends the next moment. For girls, it's like we don't give them permission just to move forward, through any, it's like we all get stuck in everything as women versus just being able to bounce back.
That's because we're brought up to be the forgivers, the nurturers. Oh, well, and then you have to take on the feelings, and that where guys are just like, oh, disposable. Okay, we had a fight, it's over, throw it out. Keep it moving. We're not socialized to do that. And if we are, then we're called bitches, right? We're aggressive. We're, all the things that, if it was a boy doing it, they get rewarded. Women do that, girls do that. No, girl, no, you got to be nicer. You got to have feelings. You got to be.
I mean, I could not agree. I could not agree more.
I know.
I could not agree more that, God, it's so frustrating. What are we doing to these girls?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So is this what you teach when you're doing the business empowerment? Like, are these the conversations we're having as an expert?
Well, the reason why I got into, say, business empowerment, or even just empowerment in general, it's just because a lot of us women think we need to have all of our ducks in a row to figure it out. But here I am, or here I was, a Black woman who dropped out of college. I immigrated from another country, came here, dropped out of college, became a single mother, and managed to figure out how to build a business and built it into $1 million. And when I hit my first million, I was depressed because my baby daddy left. But I still managed to overcome all those obstacles in order to do that. And the only reason why I talk about what I talk about is because I went through it. I got through it. And so then I know it's possible. I know I don't have to have an MBA to figure out how to run a business. I don't have to have a wealthy family to figure out how to create wealth, right? And so I have all these obstacles that were in front of me and I overcame them. So I think that makes me an expert.
I totally agree. I
Right?
totally agree. I'd much rather hear in any category of life from someone who's been through it and learned from experience than read about it in a book.
Exactly.
Because they'll never understand what it felt like to go through it, and they haven't earned it.
Exactly. And there's so many people in the space who haven't done it. They haven't done the work. They're operating off theory, or because they saw so and so making a bunch of money at it, so I'm going to do it too. And so then when I looked at the space and I saw that there was no one like me, no one that looked like me, no one that came from an unconventional background that was doing big things. And so then that's where that what would Chad do came in, because then I'm like, well, if that white guy over there who has no business doing what he's doing and he's a millionaire, why can't I do it? I actually know what the hell I'm talking about. I've been through it. I've done it. I don't have an MBA, but I've managed to figure it out. It's not rocket science, right? And so then what I like to do is I like to sort of break down the barriers. Like, girl, I did it. I'm not saying you can do it the exact same way that I did. And I'm not here to tell you that it's easy, but it is possible. So I like to call myself a possibility model, not a role model, a possibility model. So you can see what is possible. So if you want to listen, if your biggest dream is to get out of bed this morning, girl, I know how that feels because I've struggled to get out of bed and I managed to accomplish these things. Was it easy? Absolutely not. But it's possible.
Right. So do people like hire who need like the coaching? Do they hire you one-on-one to do it?
Well, see, so that's why I changed from coaching to expert.
Oh, okay.
So what I found was I used to do one-on-one coaching, but then I found that it was draining my energy, and I'm known for my energy. And working with someone one-on-one, I started to feel like a therapist. And I'm like, I am not at all trained to be a therapist.
Yeah.
And so then what I found was, becoming more of an expert so that I can speak to a wider audience, right? On different platforms. Like digital is my thing, right? So so that's why I had to stop doing the one-on-one and do more expert, like Cityline, or work for corporations and or groups that want me to come and speak to them. Like I much prefer that because I feel like I have more impact that way as opposed to and being a mother and a single mom on top of that, I have limited bandwidth, right? I can't take on
It's true.
I can't take on you crying every week, girl. I can't. I already have a kid. I got a 7-year-old crying. So
That's enough crying.
and I'm crying.
What do you find that, whether it was back when you were talking to one-on-one or a larger group, what do you find the people's like, they're trying to start a business, what's their fear? What's their biggest fear?
Their fear is being found out as a fraud. Like they actually think that they know what they're talking about. They think other people are going to find out that they actually don't know 100% of what they're talking about.
Oh wow.
Or
and
what
that's
they're
a woman,
doing.
that sounds like a woman thing again, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because Chad would be like, yeah, bro, I can do that. Like there's a
slack
guy I always
everything
talk about,
because
Chad, who
Chad-
got $69.1 million by tweeting Trump. He had 75 followers on Twitter. He was some guy that worked in Silicon Valley on mobile technology. They put out a call for ventilators. He's like, bro, I got you. the New York State of Health paid him out $69.1 million for ventilators. And it was the biggest payout ever. And he didn't have any ventilators, but he got that money because he had, say it with me, the audacity.
So then what happened?
They're looking for that money. They are still looking for that money. $69.1 million.
Are you kidding me?
I wish I was, but as you know, it keeps happening. It keeps happening. All these men who have, limited experience, and even as small as, that guy that, he's in his 40s and he's still bragging about what he did in high school, his mediocre accomplishments in high school that has nothing to do with what he's doing right now, but he's still talking about it. Right. But we women, we're afraid to raise our prices. We're afraid to start that thing because we're afraid of what other people think. We're overthinking it because it's like, well, I got to call 13 of my girlfriends before I can make this decision. No, girl, you don't.
How do you flip that switch?
Yeah.
Where's that switch? And what, okay, so clearly you earned this perspective. You did not have this perspective. Right. I'm assuming.
No,
I don't know how many years ago were you when did your switch flip, or has it been a slow flip and like the dimmer lights? And then
that's exactly what it was. It was a dimmer light. So the light's always been there. It's just, I needed to see it for myself. I needed to be like, what does this switch do? And then slowly, what? And then, and just keep turning it up. And so it wasn't until I think, because I had my son at 36. So I'm 43 now. So that was back in 2014. And I realized that and I had him and I tried to keep that relationship together for the sake of the kid and blah, blah, blah. And then one day in 2016, I woke up and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm living my life based on other people's standards. I've always, even throughout my whole life, people have always tried to put me, my mom, my family, my teachers, all that stuff tried to put me in a box. But I can't be in a box because I'm a friggin' parallelogram. I'm a rhombus. I'm all those shapes. You don't know what the fuck they look like, but I'm that shape. Okay. So I got tired of trying to shove myself into that box. And then in 2016, I woke up one day and I'm like, I've had enough. And then when I turned 40, I'm like, oh, I'm just fucking done. I'm done living for what society thinks I should be doing. And I need to live for myself because at the end of the day, what's left? Me. So I have to do what I need to do in order to make myself happy. Because if I'm happy, then guess what? My kid is happy. Everyone around me is happy because I'm attracting that energy, right? But if I'm miserable, I'm going to be, misery loves company. I'm going to be attracting all that misery. And I'm generally not a miserable person. I'm a happy person. So I just got tired of fighting that, wanting to be miserable because everybody else wanted me to be miserable because they were miserable. So I just flipped that. I just turned up that dimmer and then I just went, boom, turn on that light and said, let's go. Put on your sunglasses if you don't like it.
So, but you had to be driven, you have to have some type of drive in you. And is it money that wants, what attracted you to be want to go 100% on the gas pedal?
Money is not it. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Money cannot be your only driver. I like to say that you guys can't see, but I've got a tattoo. It says X is my Y. My son's name is Xavier. And that morning, that time when I said I woke up in 2016, I thought, do I want my son to grow up and think that his mother didn't try his absolute best to raise him? So then I thought, well, what can I do? What can I do that is within my control so I can raise him to the best of my ability? And that was to be me, right? And to show him my strength and to show him that you can go through things and things can happen to you, but you cannot lay down and die. You can't. I'm going to give it the good fight. So whatever that fight looks like, let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to go all those rounds. So whenever I think I can't do this anymore, I don't want to do this anymore, I think I need to do it for X. X is my Y. And I want him to see that the world is limitless. Right. And I want him to find a woman that's able to think like that too.
Absolutely.
And so how is he going to find that? I have to show him by example.
Yeah, that is so true. We think we have some girls, but we have a lot of boys, and we always think that, we really have to teach them so many things, but we need to show them what it's like to be with a woman and respect a woman for all the amazing things she can do. And that's what we try to do too. So when you're talking to people and
they might like men, we don't know yet. We try to be wide open to anything.
Absolutely.
So when a woman feels like she really has like a block and she's like, I really want to start a bit, because I'm sure you hear this all the time. Yep. We do too. I really want to start a business, but I don't think that I am 100% qualified for this. What are like your experience in hearing your story is inspiration enough to at least make you feel like you can do it too. But what kind of things like can they do, and what can you say to them to get them to like get out of their head?
Look at your life. What are you really good at? Girl, are you good at really organizing fridges and pantries? Mm-hmm. Or are you good at STEM? Like, look at your strengths and that's what you're naturally going to gravitate towards. Because if you're starting a business, girl, it's got to be something that you like, because honestly, money, it can't be the number one reason. It has to be something that you like to do, that you're passionate about. I know they say, oh, you should start a business out of something you're passionate about. Not necessarily, but you do need to start a business that solves a problem. So if you happen to have these great organizational skills, or maybe you're a great STEM teacher, right? Or a tutor, and maybe you're really good at technology. We could always use more women teaching STEM on YouTube or on TikTok or on, like, there's so many, like, the internet has made it possible for you to just try anything. And so like me, I started out being, I started out as a wedding decorator. Then I went to doing, hair extensions. I don't know shit about hair. But what I was after was confidence. I wanted to give Black women the confidence to show up in the world. Same thing with being a business expert, right? I've done the business, and what I saw was, women had a hard time overcoming these challenges or having confidence in themselves to do something. So then that's what I focus on. I focus on giving women confidence to do the big things. So you just have to look at what you're good at. You have to look at where there are problems. You have to look at your own life and, what are the pain points? What are things that you could solve? And sometimes you could even just look at someone else's business and look at the holes in their business. Look at the gaps. Okay, so cool. Let's talk about the Gap. You see that the Gap is selling jean jackets. Okay, those are great jean jackets, but man, I wish they were bedazzled. Are you good at bedazzling? Okay, cool. So what you do is you go and you buy Gap jackets, or you go to the thrift store, you buy jean jackets and you bedazzle them. That's a business.
Yeah. You also just gave me a light bulb moment, because we also, we have moms, and we have actually one of our team members who let you in. Her name is Kath, and she was my neighbor, and she saved me on multiple times because she was the PTA mom.
Oh, so
And
see?
I would miss pizza lunch. My kid would have no lunch, and she'd be like, hey, I'm in the office with your kid. Like, no judgment. She's rescued my dogs. My kids were once home alone because I didn't know they were coming home for lunch. I forgot. And she's like, no worries, like always there. Right.
Right.
And I remember she was looking for a job and she's like, I can't find a job for the life of me because she'd been out of the workforce for so long.
Right.
And like, I think now I hear so many women say that. And she used to drop off to me all of her daughter's old toys, and every toy was labeled and the full puzzle was there and the full Lego set was there.
Yeah.
Vivian, the whole thing labeled.
Yeah. And she would call me mind blown because we would give our kids like a puzzle or a Lego set in the first day, 10 pieces are missing.
Right. And so anyways, she's the first. I actually thought we needed a job. It wasn't a huge job, just a tiny job filled. And I was like, this is where we have a gap in our business. And I was like, would you want to do this? And she was like, absolutely. But the bigger point is, I hear so many women say, I've been out of the workforce for so long. I don't have anything to put on my resume. I have nothing. Like, they're not being Chad. They're being so hard on themselves as moms because they feel like they're not enough for just being stay-at-home moms. So it's like you don't even have to start your own business just to apply to a job. You have to apply a different mentality and pull your skills out personally, not just like, what you could create. But if you maybe your desire is never to have your own company or never to start something.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. But you'd love to get a job. You can get a job if you are Chad.
But even then, it's like, look how Kath applied her skill set from being a mom, and she probably she could use that same skill set to be, for a 9-to-5 job. But it's like, sometimes you have to be an entrepreneur. Right. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you have to work for yourself. It just means maybe you need to make up a position at your business at your 9-to-5. So you see these gaps in the market. Let me start over. At your 9-to-5 or your former 9-to-5, you saw that there were gaps in that business. Then it's like, well, what could I do now that could do that? So Kath she's super organized. So now she can take that and apply it to people who are entrepreneurs. That's smart. Like, listen, everything can be applicable to everything, to anything. Yeah. You can't limit yourself. Like, I like to say that it's like looking at your life through a peephole. If you look through a peephole, you're only going to see what's in front of you. But if you just sort of use this Chad thing, like what would Chad do? It's going to open up that peephole, and you can see all these opportunities around you that you didn't even know existed. Like, I just got an email early last month in May for an opportunity, and I was like, I didn't even think of that. But the audacity, because I said, okay, well, if this is where I want to go, if I have a goal, right? Let's just say your goal is to, I don't know, retire early. Okay, so what do you need to retire early? You need $1 million. Okay, cool. So what can you do to get that $1 million? Okay, let's just say you have a job. Your job makes $60,000 a year. Cool. How can I make up that difference? Okay, so that means I need to start a business. Okay, so what sort of, like, that's how you got to think. Okay, so what sort of business should I start? You know what? I'm really good at organizing. So maybe I should just start, organizing for people. Okay, well, where do I get people who want to be organized? You know what? On the internet. So what can I do that I can do quickly? And not perfectly. I don't need $1 million budget to do it in order to get those customers. I should start a TikTok. You can create 15-second videos of you organizing.
It's so crazy because we used to do like a master class when COVID started, and we were helping entrepreneurs get transition from where they were to digital, because we had been did lives, like everything for so long. And I was like, in this time in your life, everything is free. Your marketing is free. You don't have to buy a commercial. You don't have to do print ad. You don't have to, like, you can reach more people than ever, like billions of people, if you just take time and effort, and nothing comes easy, which so many people want to assume, like, they want to think you did it really easily or you're lucky, because then it means that you know, they can do it without hard work, or that it was just something that would never happen to them. It's like winning the lottery. She just, you know, she's just lucky. I think a lot of people they like that feeling, because if you think about what's holding you back, you know, it's yourself and your own limitations, and that's really scary. And then taking a risk on yourself is even scarier, because it's easier to live in complacency than it is to live in an uncomfortable zone of where you can actually grow. And I mean, I'm sure you have failed, like I'm sure, because we have failed
spectacularly.
Yeah, spectacularly, where you're like, are you serious? And it's never a downhill when you're in a risk zone. It's always an uphill, but the uphill feels, it's like a workout. It feels good when you're glad you're doing it, even though some days you're like, I don't want to do this. And then when you get to a milestone, you're like, oh, that's so amazing, you know. And
but you wouldn't have gotten there had you not done it on those days that you didn't want to do it.
Yeah. I have to tell you a funny story. Nat and I are big into manifestation.
Same.
And just sort of, you know, putting it out to the universe. Doesn't mean the universe does it all for you, but you have to attract the energy.
Right.
And I've always said I want to be in Forbes magazine. So lo and behold, last week or 2 weeks ago, we're in Forbes magazine for a new platform that's launched and we're part of.
It wasn't about us. We were mentioned.
And I was like, this. I had to call her quickly and go, that's not what I was talking about. That's not the Forbes thing I was talking about. Because I didn't want the universe to think that it was just a mention. I was like I'm talking an article for success. And I was like, I just need to let you know that thing was just like a stepping stone to where we're going.
And I was like, I know that. She's like, I know, but I have to say it out loud so they can hear us.
Yep.
I'm like, you have to feel it too. But even manifesting is a risk for some people, because they believe, you know, we did a vision boarding thing with stream with people.
Oh, we sound like a big weirdos right now.
Yeah, we're weird.
I know. I always say it's like, it sounds like woo woo, but you know what?
And so many people said, I'm so afraid to show my spouse. they're gonna laugh at me for my dreams.
Yeah.
They're gonna laugh at me.
A lot of women are afraid to fail.
Yep.
And that's exactly the opposite, is to have the audacity to at least try and be okay when things don't work out. And that's
but if you can't even dream it, like if you can't even say it out loud as like a wackadoo dream, you know, even if you, like my husband has said so many times to me, in your dreams or when you get a new husband, and then it happens and he's still my husband. Like the third baby, remember? You can get a new husband, and that when you get a new husband, you'll get a third baby. Well, he's still here and we have a third baby. Like there's a bunch of things that he has said, and I've never let go of what I dream of. You know, I might have held my legs really tight, you know, one time, not let him out
to let that sperm fly.
Somehow we managed to get back to Pound Town.
Yeah. Vivian, we talk about Pound Town a lot. Pound Town is a big conversation over here.
The one thing, Vivian, I feel like now in my head, I'm always going to be like, when I'm like, I don't know if I should, what would Chad do? Is going to be in my head. And
how it should be.
Is it going to give me the audacity to do more things? But it's also going to make me laugh every freaking time I think it.
Think about, like, it's really, I always say, you know, keep it in your bra, keep it in your purse, keep it in your back pocket. It's literally like, whenever you're like, oh man, I can't. What would Chad do? Just interrupt yourself. What would Chad do? I mean, I'm not advocating, don't go out there and be an asshole. Don't go out there and lie. That is not, please do not come back and, well, Vivian told me to do it. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, no. What I'm saying is to use what would Chad do to help you to immediately dismiss the self-limiting beliefs, the I can't, I don't know how, or, you know, they're doing it better than me. Therefore, no, just use it to just, would Chad think that? Would a 40-year-old white guy think that he couldn't do something? They think they can do everything. So why can't you? You can try. And if you fail, or if they say no, did you die? You did not. You are okay. Get yourself back up and do it again.
And I also know you're not encouraging everyone out there to second mortgage their houses and spend their life savings on an idea.
Do not quit your job. Don't I'm not saying go crazy, go big or go home. Start small. And by starting small, I'm talking something easy and free. You can start a TikTok, girl. If you're really good at organizing, start a TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you don't even have to, you don't even have to
watching-
show your face if you don't want to.
Yeah, they love watching you fold things and
Right?
open drawers up and
Right?
things. Yeah, or like these snap and then it's messy and then it's clean.
Right.
Yeah.
You just gotta think of it like this. This whole thing is not a marathon. You gotta think big little steps. It's the little things. Like even when I look at my vision board, I remember in 2019, I was like, I had these big grand visions. I wanted a podcast. I wanted someone to sponsor it. I wanted, 20,000 on Instagram. Like I had all these goals and they were big, hairy, audacious goals. Like I was like, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna put it out there. It made me uncomfortable. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Lo and behold, 2 years later, now I'm at 30,000 on Instagram. And I did it in a way that wasn't the best way, but when you're dealt with the cards that you're dealt with, you just have to play the cards.
What did you do wrong? What do you mean? What was bad about it?
Black people started mattering. Black lives started mattering. So then what happened was everyone wanted to start to diversify their feeds.
Okay.
And so I had this influx of white women coming to follow me. And so but then that sort of set off and it was only because I had the audacity to speak up about it. I had to speak up about the space, the coaching space and what I was seeing. And then that went viral. And then I got this influx of women following me. And then that opened the door to other opportunities. Like it's just the whole thing. And so then it all starts with that audacity to do that thing.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what that thing is. It doesn't have to be TikTok. I don't just do that thing. If that means, emailing somebody, if that means just, recording you doing something, if that means just buying a domain name, just start.
It's true.
It's about the momentum because once you start, you're going to keep going and it can be little steps. Sometimes that one step you took forward takes you backwards. That's okay because you still have one foot forward.
And I think it has to do with not just even your success as so whatever you want to change, right? Like I think of every Friday I clear a little bit out of my house. So I donate a little bit of like I get rid of a pile that, because, all of us have too much in life and
Right.
it's like, it can feel gross when you can feel overwhelmed.
Yep.
So I'm finding that like every time it's not huge, it's like a 10-minute process where I go and just, do a pile and it's just doing it. Like, but if I don't do 3 hours and I just do 10, if I know it's 10 minutes, doable.
Yep.
I'm not like, I'm going to rearrange my whole basement and get rid of, it's not a day.
I like what you said, big little steps, because those little steps will make a big dent.
Yeah.
6 months later, you've got a less messy or a less cluttered house.
Yeah.
All because you took those 10 minutes every single week.
I feel that with working out. I feel that with, I have a whole bunch of things I have to return. I've printed the slips. Now I got to put them on and take them to the post. All of these things that I don't.
Can I give you the things I have to return?
It's all of these things that like I barrier myself. I'm not doing anything. I'm scrolling on Instagram.
Yeah.
But if I just, and when I do 20 minutes of my workout, I feel so much better about myself than if I just sit there thinking about, I wish I was doing it and then beat myself up about not doing it all day. I'm like, just get up and do it,
Listen, I think what it is that we overwhelm ourselves and we try to multitask everything, right? So it's like, okay, well, I need to clean out the basement. That's a huge task. But how can you start? You start by going to the basement and seeing what's there that needs to be cleared out. Cool. You did that today. You go to that back down the next day. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to get rid of all the toys that are for kids 5 years and under because you don't have any 5-year-olds anymore. Cool.
I do, but soon. Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's how you start. You don't have to go if you can, then do it. But you don't need to overwhelm yourself in order to do the big things. You can start small.
I love that.
I have a question for you because it's almost time to go. Do you love or hate this question? What's next? Love or hate it?
I'm neutral. It depends on my mood. I'm neutral about it, but I like it coming from you because I feel like I can give an honest Vivian
Okay.
answer, right? But
Yeah,
if
I
this
would
was like
love
an
that.
e-commerce podcast, I'd be like, whoa, 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 I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel? What do you want to do next? How about that? What do you want to do next?
So I say that I'm Oprah plus Gary V.
Yes. It's on your handle. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so this is the thing I'm manifesting. I don't know what it looks like exactly,
Yeah.
but I know this is what I am. I'm very Oprah-y, but I will say Oprah plus Gary V plus, the party emoji, and that's Vivian. And so, I love to help people get started and to keep going. And I really love doing this type of stuff like podcasts and videos and being funny and being myself. And so what that exactly looks like, I'm not entirely sure, but what I'm seeing manifesting, like what I'm seeing happening in my inbox and in my, like the opportunities that I'm being offered, I'm like, I didn't even think of that. But the whole point is I put that out there. This is what I
Yeah.
want to do. So I'm not concerned with the how. All I'm concerning is with myself is the why and what I want to do.
Do you ever get like self-doubt or comparison or like caught up in I want to do more? Why don't I have more numbers, or how can I grow? Or
my problem isn't with how can I grow. It's just more like I need to take my own advice because it's always easier said than done, right? It's easy for me to tell you, be Chad. But in order, like the big opportunity that I was talking about earlier, I had to turn to my girlfriends and be like, can you please cheer me on? Because I have the shits right now. Because this is about to be the biggest thing I've ever done and the biggest number I've ever put out there, right? And so they were like, you can do it. And so really, I need to take my own advice sometimes because, one of the things that, that keeps me humble is my family, right? So they keep me humble. And so then sometimes I'm too humble. And so then I have to push myself out of the comfort zone and do the big Chad things. I keep telling you to be Chad, but I need to be Chad myself. Right. So that's really that's my thing, is taking my own advice. But for the most part, I do. But, now that when the next levels and when I keep leveling up, I'm like, oh shit. I mean, this is what I wanted, but I didn't actually know it was gonna come.
Oh, I know that feeling. I know that feeling
And now
so
it's here.
well. I know that feeling.
I feel like Xavier he's so lucky to have you as his mom, like that energy he gets to live with and
Thank
hear
you.
the advice from and like feel like empowered by. He's so lucky.
He is. Hey, boo boo, mommy loves you. Be a good boy, okay? He's not listening to this.
Oh my God. Where can everyone find more of you? Where would you like them to go?
Instagram. Instagram is my jam. I'm an absolute pleasure to follow in Instagram stories.
That's like the quote. That's like the quote of the day. I love that.
Absolute.
I am an absolute
pleasure.
And you're at Vivian K.
Yeah, it's Vivian K.
Vivian
ITSVIVIANKAYE. You'll know it's me with you see a black lady with a crown and balloons. That's me.
What about, are you on TikTok?
I am, but I haven't really been just because of virtual school. But I'm always in my stories though.
Okay, I love that. Stories are the best.
Do you oh God, it's gone. Like literally
I know that
gone.
feeling too.
Gone. Like
Yep.
I had a last question that my husband, I saw him call me and I was like, decline, and I forgot.
I know we were just ending because we asked for it to find, that opportunity that has come to you. Is it gonna, like, it hasn't happened yet?
They just literally last night at 12:34. So I've had this thing with 1, 2, 3, 4. I keep seeing it.
Yes.
And yeah, I keep seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. And I Googled it and I asked my audience, and they're like, yeah, it means you're on the right path. So last night at 12:34, I opened and I never opened my email. Like I'm not an email checker type person. And all I saw was boom, confirmed, ! Vivian K, that.
Are you so excited? I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I was just like, and it's on my vision board, except I didn't know how I was going to accomplish it.
I love that.
You know what? If there's one thing I've learned is you never, sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to update my vision board.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've learned is that you never know who's watching. So you just got to just do it. Just do whatever it is that you want to do, because if you put it out there, it will come.
Okay.
I love that. That reminds me of my mom saying, just put some lipstick on before you leave the house. You never know who you're going to see.
It's true. It's true. It's true. And, you know, and be yourself. Please
Yeah.
be yourself. Please don't try and be a carbon copy or try and be Cat Nat or Vivian. No, be yourself, because trust me, we need more of you in this world.
Yeah. That's
So.
true. Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you so much for joining us. This is such, I feel such good energy to go on with this day.
Me too. I'm gonna go put on all my Forbes is going back up there right now.
Atta girl.
Yeah, put it back up there.
It isn't.
Print out and put up Forbes, and then put an article of someone that's similar, like that, not similar, but you know, that has an article.
Yeah,
just
has
like
done
you.
it.
Boom.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, can't wait to go to see. We'll keep watching your fabulous stories, and hopefully we can meet in person one day.
Absolutely. Yes. I want outside to open. Let's do
Oh
that.
my gosh, right?
It's coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.